Hey guys, it's first second voke here, or John, and today I'm just going to go through and explain vorago. I'm making this as a one of possibly 4 to 5, maybe even 6 videos about vorago. I'm going to be doing the different roles as well as showing you the gear I use. So, what is vorago? So, vorago's what I would consider to be one of the high up bosses. You don't really just go straight from God Wars or something like that into vorago. Even though I did, it wasn't a very smart move. It took quite a long grind to get the gear when I could have just done God Wars for say another couple of days and I could have got the gear, because you join forum teams and stuff like that, and it's not quite as helpful as if you have someone to sort of sit down and teach you the actual fight. So that's why I'm making this. And yeah, I'm just going to be going through my gear and how you could swap it out for certain items and stuff like that, as well as how to get to vorago, and then I'll make some other videos later down the track, the different roles and what I do in those roles, my rotations, all sorts of things like that. So first of all, this is just the gear. As you can see, we got range bomb tank with heals. All of these you want to yak full of rocktails. So first up, we just have the bomb tanking. You've noticed that you have War Priest, 3 pieces of War Priest, so you can get the proc, which just reduces damage taken. It stops the whole attack. So if a red bomb is coming at you, it deals 2k to you. It'll stop that damage altogether, which is quite useful and can save you quite some times, which has happened with me. So as you can see, I have that on the bomb and the melee base. As well as, you don't need to use an Amulet of Souls, however it is quite useful on the DPS rolls at least. Bomb tanking not needed so much, but if you want to wear it, that's always good. Death Lotus, just because it has more HP. Defensive wise, it's completely fine. Defensive wise, it's got nice defensive stats on it, and isn't as expensive as say Ceramic like this here. You want to sign a death or sign a life. If you have portents, that's completely fine too. I prefer death because if you're in last phase and by some chance you happen to die, which is what will happen a lot when you're learning and whatnot, then you deal 10k to vorago and it might push him back that little bit. That might secure the kill for you. So we have other things. You always want to bring your weapon switch, just in case you don't voke in P4 at the start of the waterfall, or at the end, sorry. And then you get a minion, and that's not always good when, especially in the worst of times. So you always want to bring your switch, just so you can kill it and then get back to doing what your job is. Laws, Bloods, Astrals for the healing. So there's things you can do, such as barricading, and then use the ability in Lunar spells called Heal Other, and you can do that to heal everyone, which is very useful and saves a lot of food for the team. There's some brews, rocktails, so things like that, all the supplies you'll need. This is more geared for just one kill, other than adding an extra Dren pot, which isn't really needed, but if you're doing below 15-minute kills, then this is a 2-kill trip sort of thing if you get to that point, which is rather useful. Moving on to range DPS. This is gear I use. You can swap out things like change your gloves and your boots for Galavans or tracking. That's same with obviously the mage as well. You can change it to rage fires and statics. Your auras always want to be the most, with DPSs at least, your auras want to be the one that increases your accuracy. You can still use auras like dark magic and stuff like that, which is still quite useful. Equilibrium's always fine too. So yeah, and also you've noticed there's also enchanted Excalibur, or enhanced, I think it is. And this is it's a free 5k heal, and no adrenaline needs to get used for it. You can use it every 5 minutes, so it's very useful in that aspect. Ring of Vigor, quite useful obviously for the 10% adrenaline that you save after using ultimates. It's a big thing. For bombing and basing, you can obviously take us out, put a Leviathan ring in, stuff like that. you also want to be bringing a shield. As you can see, shield is in every single inventory, or at least equipped. Mainly because if a blue bomb comes at you in any one of the phases, then you can just pull your shield out and res it, and you get quite a nice heal out of it. So it's quite useful in that aspect. So yeah, these are just the gears. Couple other things. You're gonna want 99 in all the combat styles that you're using. It's not required. I started vorago when I didn't have 99 in anything except strength. And you just gotta find those teams that are willing to take you, sort of thing, so you can try and learn it and whatnot. 96 summoning is recommended. It's not required. When I started, I was using a tortoise. And obviously that is quite bad for certain reasons, but I'll go into that in another video. So yeah, you want a yak, or at least a uni. 95 prayer is recommended, not required. Curses is also a lot more effective, unless you're using the Zealot's amulet, but that's quite a different story. Overload zone drone pots, you need these are your bread and butter of everything boss related, so those are also very useful. Also, just another thing to point out, the soul and the chaos runes are obviously for debuffs. In the last phase you can use this to increase your damage by 10%, and then you can also use it to stall adrenaline, but I'll go into another video about that as well. So yeah, these are just the gears I use. So yeah, you could change out a couple of things, like you could change this to Death Lotus or Tetsu or Sea Singers. That's completely fine too, if you're learning and you don't want to take degradables out there, stuff like that. So yeah, some groups will allow you to take chaotics. However, it's more like if you have the main hand ascension and the offhand chaotic, it's not too much of a problem. It's when you're using chaotics and you've got them in your main and you're off, or if you had chaotic staff, that's when it's kind of a bit stretch, because it is very low DPS compared to the other items, such as, well, 90 tiers. So yeah, and now I'll just go into how to actually get to vorago when we finish loading. Okay, so I'm just going to open the map up here. So vorago is just situated in Falador, just north of the lodestone. So essentially what you want to do at the start of the run, you'll gear up, get your gear ready wherever, teleport to here. There's also an altar here which gives you your prayer points, obviously, and then your summoning points back as well, so that's very useful. So you come out of the lodestone, go over here, get your prayer points and restore your summoning points, head up into this cave, and you just follow the path along there, and you'll go to his face and you have to talk to him, and then he'll ask you to would you like to challenge me. You just say no, and then you can come back with your team, or well, if you're going with your team for the first time, you need to just go in there, have a chat to him, and then he'll say if you want to challenge me. Usually you'd want to say no, unless your team is saying you should, and then they'll accept the invite to start the fight. Essentially, after you get the kill, you want to just teleport there to Elf City or Lunar Isles. That's usually the way to go about getting your inventory and stuff refilled. So yeah, that's this is just the first of 5 or 6 videos. I'm just making this a sort of a starting ground for the other ones. But yeah, I hope the inventories were useful, and so you can see what I use. I'll be going into videos about DPS rotations, all that sort of thing, in the future to come. So yes, thank you for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next video.